In this episode, we talk about raw food for cats, deer sightings, and politics.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Toast.
We've been partners in life, love, and music since 2001. And we believe life is best lived as a love story. Your love story.
After all, to love well is to live well. For more, check out siennaandtoast.com.
But for now, here's this episode.
Hey everyone, happy March. Thanks for joining us. Today we will actually share that it's been a long time since we have batched podcasts.
Yes, batch recorded.
Yes, because if you've been listening regularly, you've heard me coughing a little here and there. And so it's been kind of a challenge to get through recording a whole slew of podcasts. So today we're going to try it. But we're excited because we have a lot of things to chat about with you. Today we're going to be talking about raw food for cats, deer sightings, and politics. So get ready.
Like those things just go together.
So I will say that we don't have an update for you for date updates.
Yeah.
But we do have our dates scheduled for this month, March. So I'm excited to kind of get back on the ball with that. But we've been busy.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. The reason we don't have a date update is because of you. We have been using our other spare time to put together something that we're very excited to unveil and tell you more about. It will be available. The plan is to have it available on March 19th.
Yes.
So mid-March. We've been working like busy little beavers on that thing.
And this is really an item that is tailored for our lesbian couple friends.
Yes.
Out there.
We figured since we are one, we could put something helpful out there for other peoples who are ones.
I guess it could be applied for other couples, but we don't know, right? Because we can't speak for. We're not a heterosexual couple. We're not a gay man couple. So,
but we are pretty confident that
it's applicable.
Yeah, the things are the principles and concepts are generally universal.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Maybe.
Okay, that's we've already said too much.
So that will be available on March 19th. Okay, so we're going to talk about raw food for cats. Now, if you're a fairly new listener, meaning a new listener as of 2018.
Yep.
You're just nodding, but no one can see you nodding or hear you nodding. So to me, that's a fairly new listener.
Yes.
Right? We probably have not talked much about cats at all. But if you've been a day one listener, meaning way back in the day when we first started the podcast, you'll know there was a time when all we really talked about was cats. And I mean, maybe not 24/7 cats, but
It was never a cat podcast.
It was never a cat podcast, but we did, at the time, we had my beloved, sweet soul cat, Kumen, who I had the honor of taking care of her for over 19 years. Back when we started the podcast, she had her own corner. So it was called Kumen's Cat Corner, and we would talk about random things there. But Toast and I also used to have an organization called Concerts for Cats, where we put where we had fundraisers, and through our music and through music in general, we would raise money for senior cats in need of medical attention. We no longer have that organization. It was a lot of work. We were doing everything. But anyways, so we love all animals, but for some reason in this lifetime, we've been handed the role of guardian of cats.
I think it's part of the lesbian thing.
Do you think so? Well, a lot of lesbians just love animals, right?
And they have dogs too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dogs in the pickup truck.
Too. So, So anyways, we wanted to talk about Bear and his newest favorite food. Now, we will say that we are not experts on cats.
Well,
You have
no,
to.
let's qualify because
Okay, we're half expert.
I would say I'm above. I think I'm above average in knowing cat
You
stuff.
are. Yes, you are.
But Sienna, you are way above average in knowing cat stuff because
But-
you have taken the proactive lead, doing all kinds of research into diet and nutrition and the common physical ailments and diseases that cats have, and you know all
Because
about
we
like
were
what to look
faced
for.
with it, really.
I know, but you're the one
when
who
we were
took
taking
the
care of all
lead.
those senior cats.
Yeah. So you are a cat expert. Own it, girl. Own it.
Well, okay. I mean, yes,
okay,
I
when
do know a
people-
lot about cats.
Yeah.
But I'm not,
like,
but it's not
come
my,
on.
I mean, okay.
Come on now.
I love cats. I love them. I really love them.
It's a joke. It's a joke among.
Oh my God, I love them so much. I do.
It's like that video. Remember, there was a video, and somebody was like, a girl
the
was like
girl.
crying about
Yes.
how much she loved
That
cats
was
or
so
something.
hilarious.
That was
I'm not crying,
freaking
though.
hilarious.
I'm not crying.
Yeah, that's not the situation we have going on
Okay.
here.
But I think
But rest assured, listener, if you want to know about cats and you have a cat question, it's 95% or more likely that Sienna would know the answer.
Well, okay, so here's what I will say. I have, a lot of you might not know, but my day job is actually working for Jackson Galaxy, who is a cat expert. And I've been there for a long time. But prior to that is when both actually Toast and I went through. We had the cat organization, and we took in a whole bunch of senior cats, got them all the medical attention. Realized that way back then was when we first discovered raw food, because of the healing properties that changing the diet for some cats has, especially those senior cats who had so many physical ailments and so many things going on with them. We also learned so much about over-vaccinating cats and just, oh my gosh, so many things. So we really, in the very beginning, learned because we needed to. And so I will say that I'm very grateful that my day job has helped support my love of all creatures, but especially cats. And also that through that, we also have some great friends in the animal world. Mm-hmm. We've mentioned our friends who own the store, Portland store, Roar. They're great friends of ours and experts on cats,
Right.
So,
and because our circle of friends includes a bunch of other cat people, we all trade tips and stories about, have you tried this product or
Yes,
that food
it's
or this
constant.
litter, and
Right.
what's your feedback
Right.
and all that. And so we
we
have our
also-
own little focus group
right.
going on here informally.
Yes, and even some of our friends, even if they're not professional cat people, they might as well be. We have a friend, Sherry, who took in 9 cats off the street from a homeless woman. So Sherry and Paul, they've gone through a whole journey, and they also have cats of their own before they brought in the 9. So they're practically experts.
Yeah, it was actually really neat to be able to kind of share and teach them how to give a cat subcutaneous fluids to keep them hydrated.
And B12 shots. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had that experience because we were taught by the vet originally how to do that for our cats that we were taking care of.
Oh yeah,
And
the other
then
ones.
when we helped to pass on that information, and then now, they're taking it and
they
running.
have
So
Poli. They have Poli.
they have our
Yes.
hospital pole that holds up the bag of fluid. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got a hospital type pole that holds the liquid fluids,
IV.
the IV fluids that you see. You see it if you go to the hospital or watch TV, those shows and stuff like that. And because our cat needed sub-Q fluids more than once a day, we made it very celebratory, and we hung up decorations on the pole to make it look like a party. And there were all kinds of colors and balloons and things spinning on it. And she loved it. We loved it, to just make it more of an honoring type of, ceremony, instead of like, okay, we're going to stick you with this thing and shoot liquids in you. No, right? We want it to be
Well, we're going to do
as
it,
loving as possible.
Yeah, but we're going to heat up the water in the bag, or not the water, the fluid, the special fluid in the bag, so it's not this icy cold fluid going into.
We can do another episode.
Yes.
That. Okay. So
Raw food. All of that was like
Bear
the
is
preamble to the raw food thing.
Bear's like, get on with it, man.
Yeah.
I thought this was about me.
Dude, where's my corner? Cumin's cat corner. Where's Bear's boudoir? Bear's...
That wouldn't be right for Bear.
No.
All right. So, Mr. Bear. The reason why I wanted to share this with all of you is because Bear is pretty picky in terms of what he likes to eat, what he doesn't like to eat. He came to us as part of a litter of kittens that we were fostering. He was the only one that didn't get adopted right away, and we felt so bad. So we adopted him. But with this litter, when we were fostering them, we made sure they had all types of diet available to them, including raw. And back when we were doing that, we were so lucky to have our friend Sherry make homemade raw for us. And it was just, we were so lucky.
Yeah.
They loved it.
I bet probably people who are listening to this are going like, what? Somebody's making cat food at home?
Yeah.
Out of
They
raw
have a
meat?
grinder. Yeah. Yeah.
And our answer to that is yes.
Yes.
That's exactly
They have
what
it
we're
down.
saying.
They have it down to a science. And Bear was always pretty picky, but he did love that raw. However, as he grew, his taste buds just, they changed, and he would like different things. And for the longest time after moving to Portland, we finally landed on a raw food that he is truly enjoying. And I think this, could be a brand for you and your cat if you have a pretty picky feline.
Which they are known to be.
Yes. So our friends at Roar shared this brand with us, and they said, "Hey, has Bear tried West Coast Raw?" And we were like, "No, we'll try it." We actually kind of got pretty discouraged with the raw for a while, and so Bear hadn't been eating raw for many, many, many months. Oftentimes with companies doing small batch, the batches taste different from batch to batch. And so one batch doesn't taste the same, and cats can pick up on that. And they're like, no, never mind. I actually don't like that. Really. So it
Send it back to the kitchen.
Yeah, it can be really discouraging sometimes. So anyways, West Coast Raw is Bear's favorite raw food of the moment. And it comes in a little plastic,
like a margarine container.
Like a margarine
right?
container, comes frozen. And so what we did was we put it in the refrigerator to thaw it, but not thaw it completely. You want to just make sure it's still icy and kind of chunky and still pretty solid. And then after it's at that point where you can flip it over and it can pop out, then we cut it into 8 little chunks. And then we put each chunk into a snack size Ziploc, squeezing out all the air, and we throw all of them back in the freezer except for 1 cube of it. And then when I feed that in the morning, I will replace the cube by taking another from the frozen, take that out. So I take one out every day for him. Mm-hmm. And what's been so helpful is that Toast and I were given a milk frother for coffee.
Yeah, this
years and years and years and years ago. This is like a little hack, right?
So this was really surprising because we were gifted a very fancy Nespresso type of thing.
Yeah.
And this whole shebang, this kit included a separate little pitcher that's especially meant just for kind of frothing the milk that goes on top of coffee. And we're like, oh, that's too fancy for us. So we just kind of put it away.
Plus, I don't love the froth. Like, I don't,
You don't like all the air bubbles and stuff?
Yeah. I just like how it heats.
Right. It warms
heats your
up.
milk,
It warms up whatever's in there after spinning it around and creating all of that frothy stuff. So anyway, foamy stuff. So it just sat in our cabinet
Years.
for a really long time because it was just too fancy for us.
Well, that's not why. I was just, because we don't need it, right?
That's what
We're
I mean.
like,
That's what I mean. It's like, you know
And
what?
then
I'm just going to drink coffee and add milk and okay, I'm good. But here's what was funny. Sienna and I got into an argument one time because
I'm like, we did?
well, more than one time. But anyway, this particular time, it was because she wants to feed Bear his food so that it's not refrigerator cold. Or even when it becomes like the wintertime here, it gets really
everything
cold. So
in everything outside of the refrigerator when in Portland, it's like refrigerator.
you're getting chills right now. You got a little
Yeah,
shiver.
I got a little chill saying that.
Okay. So, we want to feed Bear food that's closer to like the temperature of a freshly killed mouse or whatever, right? Something that's warmed up. So she would open up the kitchen faucet on the, wait till the water ran hot, which took a long time. You know
Toast
what I
is
mean,
really
right?
excellent at conserving.
I try to conserve natural
and
resources.
energy.
I try to, yes. So anyways, so Sienna's there and the water is just pouring out of the kitchen
And Toast
faucet.
is giving me stink eye vibes.
Going immediately down the drain. It takes minutes. It takes minutes of water until the water heats up to be hot, and then the food can be placed into the hot water and warm up. And so I got really mad and we got into a fight about it. And at the end of that fight, we realized we can use that frother
Yep.
to just heat up
Yep.
the water. And, yes, we could have also used the stove. But
I'm not using the stove.
And we didn't have a microwave, I think, at the time. Mm-hmm. So, it's
by choice.
Right.
By choice.
So the thing was like, well, how do I warm it up on the stove and make sure it's not too hot, right? Because it can't be too hot. How do we know? How do we do this so
Because
that
you
I
don't
don't
want
waste
to
water?
cook, but you also don't want the water so hot that you end up cooking the raw food.
Right, exactly. It needs to be a perfect temperature. Ding!
It's the frother, people.
Look, the frother, it warms it up. It stops itself. The liquid inside will be the perfect temperature. Problem solved. Use your coffee cream frother for your raw cat food.
Yes. So what you do is you just put some water in your milk frother. And if you are a raw food giver to your cat, raw food feeder, you might just want to get a milk frother just for this. I mean, I'm completely serious.
Unless they just want to use a microwave and figure out how much time to heat up the water for.
No, but don't use a microwave. Anyways, okay, so I put the water in there, and then I have my little snack pack Ziploc taken down from the night before, so it's pretty soft at this point. And then you kind of flatten out the medallion, right?
So that the surface area is exposed to enough water.
Yes. So you kind of smush it all the way through the whole bag so that it's just a thin surface area of the raw food. Then you put that in a bowl, and then you just put your frother on, and when it's ready, pour that water in there, and I swear it is perfect. Even if you forget about it, like, oh, shoot, I forgot. It's not, you can't overheat it. It's going to just be the perfect temperature. But I don't stop there, because after that, when I put it on a plate for Bear, I then get 2 butter knives, and then I slice through the raw food because he doesn't like just slurping up this. Ugh, I'm getting creepy. I'm getting creeped out just thinking. Yeah, and it's hanging and it's just dangling, right? So I just kind of cross-cut it so that he can eat it in little bites. So he's been really loving it. And they have turkey. So far, he's tried the chicken. He'll try the turkey next. And I think they have beef, and I kind of have a hard time with that. But we'll probably try it to keep the variety up.
West Coast Raw.
West Coast Raw. Thanks, Roar.
Man, that was a lot of cat information.
I'm sorry. I know it's 20 minutes.
All of the cat. That was for cat people only. Okay.
Okay. Well, why don't we shift to politics? Then I'll talk about the deer because I've just been talking so much and I need a break.
You take a break there.
Plus, I think people get tired if they hear one voice.
Really?
One voice. I don't know. Maybe.
Unless you're like some kind of magnificent orator.
Right. True.
But that's not what this is.
No.
Okay. Politics time then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, are you getting excited?
I'm getting excited. I'm getting overwhelmed.
Why don't we say that we have to share that Toast actually has quite a passion for politics. And maybe this is partly genetic because your dad was in politics, right?
Well, I guess the way
your passion is for humanity.
Here's the thing.
I would say your passion is for humanity and therefore leads to a passion in politics.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That was excellent. You have to give me a pat on my back because I nailed it and you didn't want to give it to me. I saw your face. No. You were like,
Passion for humanity. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I have a passion for wise living. Like, what is wise? Wisdom and truth and all of that stuff. So politics, I guess why I'm passionate about politics is because everything is politics. Like life is politics. We can live, and we do live in a certain way with everything from being able to have a frother and water that comes out of a faucet because of politics.
So why don't you help make politics palatable for us?
Whoa, geez. I don't know if I can. That's a tall order.
Actually, we weren't going to talk about that, but go ahead and talk about what.
Well, I was assuming that just like we're going to talk about cats, and if you're a cat person, then you'll get it.
Yeah.
And you'll be into it.
Yeah.
And it'll mean something to you. And that's how I feel about the politics part, is if you recognize and value or if you already recognize the value and the impact that politics has on your life, then you're going to get something out of it and you're going to be interested. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Anyway.
Move on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the first thought that comes to my mind when I say it will probably sound really dark and overly dramatic to some people. But rest assured, I'm moving on and we'll move through, and I hope to wrap up on what will be a more hopeful note of light.
Okay.
So the quote that keeps coming back to my mind over and over and over as we live during this crazy ass time in our nation's history and in the world history is from a Canadian philosopher of media named Marshall McLuhan. He lived in the last century, and one of his famous quotes is that World War III is a guerrilla information war with no division between military and civilian participation. I don't know when I read that or where I read it, but it struck me. I took note of it, and I look around, and we're living in World War III right now. It's happening. That's how I see it, and I think a strong case can be made for it. That is what is happening. And although that might sound dark, I think there's huge power in not in facing that fact, in realizing like, okay, that's the times that we are in right now. So don't deny it. And don't despair about it either. I think there's actually...
Like, look at it, acknowledge it, don't make it worse than it is, but also don't deny it.
Yeah. Like, be an adult, face up to the real world. Like, this is it. And I guess the part that's... Another thing that strikes me, another thought that comes to mind, is how I've actually heard people say this in the past, like over 5 years ago, I think probably, before all the Trumpism just wrecked things in a very obvious way. But I've heard people say stuff like, oh, if I was living during the civil rights movement, I would have marched with, the civil rights people. And at the time I heard them say that, my thought is, how do you know what you would have done? You don't know what you would have done. But again, today...
Because
like,
why? Why do you say that? Because they're
you
not
didn't
in that
live.
situation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, it's nice... It's
to
reassuring to think you would have, and
Yeah.
you would like to think you're a person maybe, and that's your ideal of what a good person would do. And that's great that that's your ideal. But to assume and to, assert that you would have, it's like, I don't know. What are you doing now? That would be comparable. That shows that you would stand up for something in a situation where you don't know how it's going to turn out. That's the other thing is like, we can look back on the past and be like, oh, the Revolutionary War or the Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, Workers' Rights Movement, Women's Suffrage Rights Movement. We know how it turned out. So we would like to think that, oh yeah, we would have been on the quote right side of history. But they didn't know how it would turn out. And we don't know how it's going to turn out right now. But we have, that's the privilege and the excitement, I think, of, even as daunting as it is, that's a privilege and excitement we have of living in this time where there is no division between military and civilian participation. So therefore, you can do something. You can fight on the side that you think is right. And that's what I have found to be rewarding and fulfilling. And one of the things that I've started doing is a product of having gone to a website called swingleft.org. So swingleft.org. And through them, I found a campaign that is perfect for introverts who just want to stay at home and not go out onto the street and march and stuff like that. It's a letter writing campaign, and you can find out about it if you go to swingleft.org.
Yeah, so Toast has been spending her time taking out all her stationery and her
my geeky paper
all of her
products
stuff, and I might be watching something on TV and she's there writing her letters, and then sometimes I see her at the dining room table, she's there writing her letters. Yeah.
And I just, do it.
It's perfect for you. Like,
it's perfect. Yes.
because you can pick it up anytime. You can be in your pajamas.
Yes.
Doing it.
Yes. So what this, exactly, in your pajamas. So this particular, in case you're curious, this particular effort is aimed at getting out the vote. And it's just encouraging people in swing states to vote. It's not even asking them to vote a certain way. It's just encouraging them to participate in democracy. And hey, I can get behind that. So that's one of the things. Honestly, the other things have really been, for me, what feels right is just in educating myself. And I gotta say, man, that has been the silver, gold, and platinum lining to this era of Trumpism, is I have learned and self-educated so much more about American history, about democracy, about authoritarianism, and all the other isms, and philosophy and human behavior. It's been incredible, like the amount of growth and insight and understanding that I have of the scope of history and our place in it. I feel like this is almost... It's similar to what I went through on a personal level when I came out to myself and dealt with like, wow, oh, what does, I think I'm gay. Like,
And then
what,
you went down
what does that mean?
researched it
and
all.
what does that mean? And that impacts things like ethics and history and civil rights and human rights, right? It impacts so many things. And, you know, you come out on the other end and you are so much more informed, and you have so much better understanding of your life, how you feel, how you're made to feel, right? How other people feel. It's incredible. So anyway, that has been another.
And that was like our cat. That was like our cat experience too.
Right.
When we
You
found out that
learn.
there's such a thing as over vaccinations, and that vaccination sites, often there's cancer there. That's why they do it in the leg, so you can amputate it and all that stuff.
and the larger systemic structures about the veterinarian
business,
industry,
medicine.
and all the my chair is creaking. That's the sound you heard. But yeah, so I will put all of those things in the category of doing something, because a huge, I would say, one of the biggest defenses and bulwarks against authoritarianism and against demagoguery and tyranny and dictatorship is an educated populace. So educate yourself. And then just to wrap up, I just want to also say, take breaks too. Like, it's...
Yeah, you can't just consume all of that
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
through various channels. Like, no.
Right. And I definitely have seen people get burnt out, I would say, you know, and that's sad. So try not to do it. And the only way you can do that is by stepping back, taking breaks, and not thinking that it's all on you. We're all in this together. And again,
not that it's all on you, and also that you're not that there is something you can do, like what you just went through.
exactly. And
Like,
that's
it's not like, oh, there's nothing I can do. So, well,
so I guess I'll do nothing. Again, with the balance,
yeah,
right? Again, with the narrow gate,
it's a life
the
theme.
narrow path.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we do have power. We have a chance to influence things. So use it. But part of that power is in being sustainable. Is in staying in fighting shape. And the only way you can stay in fighting shape is if you take breaks, take care of yourself, and step back from the front lines sometimes.
Staying in loving shape.
Staying in loving, fighting shape. Yes, yes. Yes. I was continuing the war analogy,
I
war metaphor. But
The
yeah,
masculine and the feminine are here again.
you know what I mean. And I guess the last thing too is...
I thought that was the last thing.
Well, this is the second half of the last thing. How about that? How about that? The other thing that I see on social media that just makes me like, oh, guys, don't say it. It's that whole thing. If you can't say something nice, don't say it at all.
Yes, please, God. Yes,
okay, but
thank
what
you.
what I'm talking about specifically is about demoralizing, defeatist talk and language.
Yeah.
So if you don't have something nice to say, because
period. Don't. But I
Well,
know you're being more specific.
yeah,
but I'm just saying, don't do it.
No, some things like indecency and hate speech and all that needs to be called out. So say that. But
But it
if
doesn't.
you're gonna
But you don't
chime
have
in-
to. But you don't have to meet hate with hate.
Right.
So there's a way to say it without it being hateful. That's my
Right.
stomach. Can
Yes.
you hear my stomach? I'm sorry.
We need to take a break and eat some lunch after this. But no, I didn't even get to
Okay,
my
go.
main point.
Get to it.
Part of this World War III that we're fighting to protect and to win back our democracy is knowing and encouraging others that this is a winnable fight. Yes, there's cheating going on. Yes, There's corruption that's going on that's making that fight difficult. But that's what we're fighting against, right? But our fight is winnable. And so even though you might be inclined, sometimes a thought might go through your head like, oh, but the other side's cheating, so we're going to lose anyway. Don't put that thought out there into the public square. Just keep that thought to yourself. Just take a break and let other people who are in their fighting shape, do the work. And you come back and when after you've taken time and contribute to the fight after you've taken some time for yourself. But it really doesn't.
Like, don't be so reactive, right?
But don't be defeatist. Don't be a whiner. Don't be a downer. Morale when you're fighting for something, even if it's just in the area of business or team sports, morale is huge and important. Yep. You need to keep a winning attitude, and saying defeatist things is not helpful. So I'm just saying, don't do that.
A little encouragement and a whipping from Toast.
So don't do that. Yeah, don't say those kinds of defeatist things.
Okay. Thank you.
And are we going to eat lunch now?
No, we were going to talk about the deer.
Oh, the deer.
And then we have the other. And then we have 2 more podcasts to record.
Gosh.
So I'm not sure when lunch is going to happen.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll be fine.
Yes. Yes.
We might be. Our stomachs will be part of the podcast.
The stomach growling series.
Fine. That tends to happen.
Yes.
It's real life.
Yes.
All right. So after all that political talk.
Yes.
Don't you want to just curl up with a deer?
I love looking at deer
and just have be in a little deer spooning moment.
They do look like
I
think
they would be good spooners.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds weird. We don't mean it in a weird way. So I loved. Okay, so something happened recently. We had a deer sighting, and the area that we live in now has way more nature around us. It's pretty much in the boonies, kind of, and on the outskirts of Portland. And so there's just a lot more wilderness that's left untouched. So there are deer that come around, but I don't see them very often. And Toast, you saw them before.
I saw deer in our neighborhood.
Yeah, they were crossing the street, right?
Yep. 2 deer were crossing the street, and I was so delighted because you have to understand, Sienna and I were born and raised in Hawaii.
No deer.
You don't have deer in Hawaii. You have rainbows.
Yeah.
And you have mongoose.
And waterfalls.
Yeah.
And volcanoes.
Yeah. You have other things there, but no deer. So when we encountered deer in our everyday life over here, we're just like,
it's just ridiculous.
Oh my God. You just feel like you're Snow White or something.
Yeah. So anyways, I have been actually, and maybe as a listener, if you've been listening consistently, I have mentioned, here and there in the podcast, like I've been going through some deep soul searching. And I think that, in ways we're always soul searching, but there are times when it feels more like what they call the dark night of the soul, or where you're doing a deeper search. It's sometimes it's not so fun, to do that, but when it's necessary. And I knew that, okay, this is coming around. And so the past several months, actually, I've been doing a deeper soul search, looking at some things in my past, and not necessarily hanging out there, but looking at some old beliefs that are ready to just be rewritten. And part of that has to do with my ideas around self-love and mattering, and just more self-compassion and being kinder to myself, and some of the beliefs that I adopted as a child, that still sometimes creep around and pop up. And so to see the deer, so basically we saw 2 deer doing errands last week, and it
The
was
deers
great.
were going to Trader Joe's.
And it was so great because for me, I just have a belief that if you do your best to stay awake in your life, in the day-to-day moments, the universe is so supportive of you, of us, you know, and there are messages from the universe. There's so much support to be had from the universe, and you can feel and embrace that support just by staying awake and paying attention. And you know, and sometimes it might come through as, you know, you're standing in line at Trader Joe's and you hear bits and pieces of a conversation, or you hear a certain song playing in the market. And these things that we perk up to and stay awake to oftentimes are messages of support. Mm-hmm. So seeing the deer on that particular day was so important because if you like animal medicine or looking at that, deer medicine is all about self-compassion. It's about that softer place to fall. It's about love, self-love. It also reminds us of all the places in ourselves that we're overly critical. And it really is just that soft place to land. And I really felt like I needed it that day. So, and there were the deer, and they were paying attention when I was talking to them.
That's the thing, is we were at a stop.
Yeah.
And this portion of the road we were stopped on was actually a small bridge traversing, I think anyways, a small body of water with trees next to it and brush, and the deer had come to the water. There were two of them. And
I said, "Hi, beauties." And they looked.
Yeah, they looked at us.
And they were so cute.
And we had a
God.
few seconds of just looking at each other.
And then then the light changed and we had to go, and I said, "Bye, beauties." And then we left. It was so cute.
It was really a really nice surprise.
It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
I will say that. So I think that's it. That was like a whole chock full of stuff today in the podcast.
Here and there and everywhere.
Here and there and everywhere. So we hope you listened to the whole episode and that you enjoyed it. And if you did and want to support the podcast, we have various ways you can do that now. So just check out siennaandtoast.com/contribute. Contribute. Yeah. There's all kinds of ways to support the work that we are trying to get out there in the world.
Yeah. And we just want to be another voice of solidarity, but not in some strident way, right? Our democracy is made up of decent people being decent to each other.
Yes.
So high five to you across the cyberspace waves for decency. Okay. Until next time,
this is Sienna.
And this is Toast, inviting you to come and live your love story.